Hello, people. I'm just getting things set up here. Got to make sure that this is working. Welcome to 21st Century Adulting. This is Office Hours, a bonus on a Monday night because I didn't make it last night. Your appointments have not been rescheduled. Your place in line was not saved. So you're going to have to get back in chat and let me know what adulting questions you'd like me to answer. And in the meantime, I'm going to have some fun on my computer, and I'm going to cover some stuff that's been going on lately while I do that. Don't mind if I do. I'm hopeful this should be going out to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Yep. While I do that. Don't mind if I can hear it. I see myself there. I'm on Facebook. Look, Ma. Hi, Mom. I'm on Facebook. I'm hopeful this should be going out to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Yep. There we go. While I do that. Don't mind if I can hear it. I see myself there. All right. Hey, now, I just lost myself there. I'm on Facebook. Look, Ma. I want to mute that. I don't know where chat goes, so continue watching while you browse Facebook. No, thank you. Yeah. What if I... There we go. While I do that. Open it in video. I see myself there. All right. Hey, now, I just lost myself there. Continue watching while you browse Facebook. No, thank you. Yeah. We'll just see chat here. There we go. While I do that. This is all new to me. I see myself there. All right. Hey, now, I just lost myself there. Continue. So I'm hearing myself Facebook. Like 5 different times. All right, that's Facebook. Yeah. We'll just see chat here. There we go. While I do that. That is live chat. This is all new to me. We got restream going on. Can I see chat there? Hey, no, I just lost myself there. Continue. So I'm hearing myself like 5 different times. All right, that's Facebook. Yeah. We'll just see chat here. There we go. While I do that. That is live chat. This is all new to me. We got restream going on. Can I see chat there? Hey, no, I just lost myself there. Continue. So I'm hearing myself like 5 different times. All right, that's Facebook. Yeah. Hit me up with questions about adulting. Live chat. All new to me. We got restream going on. Can I see chat there? Hey, no, I just lost myself there. We'll see how I can do this. All right, that's Facebook. Hit me up with questions about adulting. I don't know where that noise is coming from. Restream going on. Can I see chat there? It's a little confusing, I gotta be honest with you. But once we get this going, I can do this. It'll be nice. Hit me up with questions about adulting. I don't know where that noise is coming from. All right, at least there's no echo now. That's good. Let's finish this up here. We're going to put a little logo up so people know where they're at in case they don't remember. We got quite a few things to talk about tonight. We're going to discuss Overwhelm, how to avoid it. If you haven't been there yet, give it time. You probably will get there sooner or later. Adulting is hard these days. We will discuss one of my favorite topics, a conversation starter. It's a great way to start conversations by talking about conversation starters. So I got 1 or 2 up my sleeve that I'm willing to share tonight. We've got a pre-existing question from chat from the last show that wasn't answered, and all sorts of other fun stuff. For those who were on YouTube last night and saw that I wasn't there, even though I said I was going to be, I am sorry. I was trying something new. I am trying Whatnot. I've got a bunch of board games and books that I'm trying to sell, and I've got some other things. I wanted to check out the new platform, and I was struggling to get both of them going at the same time, so I just focused on Whatnot. Went through like 36 different games and Dungeons and Dragons books to explain them to people that were there, and people showed up. I chatted with a few people. It was fun. I learned a lot about the process. Still have a lot to learn about the platform, but it's kind of cool. I tend to like it. If you are interested, I can get you a link to sign up, a referral link for Whatnot, which if you sign up through that link, you get a $15 credit towards your first purchase. and I get a $5 gift as well. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. Whatnot has a bunch of stuff. It seems like a neat way to do like a online rummage sale, a different kind of platform. They really emphasize wanting people to go live as well and streaming and kind of selling things. It's pretty cool. I thought the experience was kind of fun. Looking at career changes in the future where I will need to sell my ideas, if not a product. So the concept of learning how to sell things and listen to people and figure out what they want instead of just pushing necessarily what I have. I think that's one thing that was impressed upon me last night. The most traction I got was when somebody told me when they're specifically looking for something. So something to do is always be aware of what your potential consumers want. And in general, I think I've worked as an IT professional for the last 25 years. I've always had a full-time job. I was recently fired 4 months ago, was unemployed for 3 months. And going into being unemployed, I had this dream that I could potentially do independent consulting and or make money as an influencer or a content creator, enough that someday I would be able to do that for a regular job, maybe supplemented with some other type of part-time job that I'm not going to talk about now. So adding the ability to like resell stuff that I don't need, that's just kind of cluttering up my house. I think it becomes this all of the above type of approach to how are you going to get by. I mean, that's even part of the whole, there's this whole industry of people teaching you how to build passive income and multiple income streams, and it's not all passive. Sometimes you're going to have to work and there's going to be multiple income streams. Unfortunately, if things economically keep going the way they do, if we lose our first world status because of whatever reason, or times get even tougher, I think it's something that more Americans will need, is the ability to say you can't just rely on having a full-time job anymore. Job security isn't necessarily all it's cracked up to be. There's also people on more traditionally on the left that talk about UBI, universal basic income, as part of filling an income gap to get people there, but it can't be all of it. There's still going to have to be something on top of that. And I think developing that entrepreneurial spirit, I know there's a ton of people out there hustling and making it work with side hustles and turning them into full-time hustles, and realizing you're going to have to constantly reinvent yourself. And it is some work, but it's also a huge opportunity because you never know when your next reinvention of yourself is going to be the best invention of yourself yet. So you could look at it that way. If you keep striving, if you keep working, you could keep going around, but reaching higher and higher levels. So there's a lot of different reasons I decided I wanted to look into Whatnot. And in general, it's pretty cool. Part of what I'm going to be working on here, I'm setting up a stream. I'm going to stream this there as well. I'm going for widescreen on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, but then I'll do like more of a mobile version on Whatnot. See if anyone wants to ask me questions about my games out there. I got some work to do to update my my inventory. I've got a large amount of goods out there that I am ready to get rid of, which is actually a funny story. My parents did quite well for themselves. They worked very hard. They had full-time jobs. They didn't spend a lot of money. They saved a lot, and they retired with a fair amount of money. Enough that they could occasionally go to the casino and win or lose money, but you know how that works, typically more losing money. They ended up, over the years, getting a collection of these kitchen goods, right? Like sandwich toasters and hand mixers and mixing bowls, plates, decorative display mugs, all this sort of stuff, mainly the same brand, Perini. So I was helping my parents this past weekend and got just this huge collection, almost all one-offs. There's only one or two items where there's two of them. And there's actually a few that they kept. There's a few that Lelena is going to keep for when she moves out that she's going to want. And there's one or two things that I might keep as well. But there's a whole bunch of this stuff that I have to load into my inventory and get it set up. So it's probably something I'll also be working on while I'm waiting for questions to come in. So I'm just on Whatnot right now. I'm going to schedule this. Let's add a photo. What kind of photo does it want? Actually, we can do it on here. We'll do it right on my phone. Be a completely separate stream. Dun, 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 dun. So how was Monday, people? Was it good to you as it was good to me? I had a good day. Dun, dun, dun. I did. Oh, let's see here. So how? Let's see if I can change the thumbnail. There we go. Oh, Laney's coming down. Hey, Laney. How you doing? How was the food? Yeah, I thought so too. That was pretty good. We had like chicken stuffed with cheddar cheese and broccoli and some minute rice and green beans. Dun, 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 dun. I am lost in my folders. There, that's good enough. We'll do that. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so we just updated the thumbnail on YouTube so it looks a little more relevant. This is office hours. Welcome to the office. Pardon me while I juggle a little bit here. Go fishing for more people that would like help with adulting. Would like to offer me advice on how to adult? Sure. Board Game Bonanza. No moderators. Does not repeat. And then we can do this. And that's good. It's cropped. It's scheduled. We're going live. We're going live while we're going live here. Get ready, people. You want to see other cool stuff? I gotta pimp out my space here. Photoshop. Let's show you just a little bit of Photoshop. I have not really checked out Nano Banana too much yet. Google's new image generation software. I think I tried it a little bit. I've always had problems. Maybe I'm not a good prompter. But I try to do text inside of an image and it just doesn't work for me. I should probably ask Gemini how to do that better because I don't get good results. And it's kind of sad. It would be nice. But at the same time, like, I think if you got taste and you know what you're doing with tools, you can get to the heart of what you want to do really quick. And you use AI for intermediate steps, right? Like some of my favorite work I did earlier this year, I generated 2 different images. And then I did a mask and I created one image out of it and put text on it. And it gave me a little bit more control. I was still able to use AI and make it cool, but let's see. But I digress. Where is it now? Come on, Photoshop. Don't be shy. Fine, we're going to export this. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, let us replace it. I need like 50 monitors so I can just look at them all at once. We're going to do this, and then this will work. Trust me, this is going to work. We're going to love it. We're going to love it. Okay, so that's what it is, but we're going to shrink it. OBS Studio is pretty cool. I am a fan. I use that a lot. Even if I'm not streaming, it's really nice actually with my camera to just use OBS Studio and send things right to my hard drive on my computer. So I don't even have to transfer things from my phone or from the camera to the laptop. It just happens automatically. It's pretty slick. Also, if I record directly on my camera, it wants to chop things up every 30 minutes, and I don't like that. I like to record more than 30 minutes sometimes. OBS Studio doesn't have a problem with that. It doesn't care. So there we go. Welcome to 21st Century Adulting, office hours. It's slow on a Monday, just the way you'd like it. It gives me hope that everyone out there had a great day. I did. I got a new cubicle at work. It's really cool. It's really fun. I'm excited about it. It's got nice, this, like motorized standing desk type of thing. It's handy. I use it quite a bit. I got a new cubicle at work. It's really cool. It's me. It's really fun. And it's almost live. Hey. Twitch is out there. Is it bots? I'm good. Bill Ever 35. If you're not a bot, ask me a question about adulting. I am having recently gone through the experience of needing to get a job. I was bombarded with services that want to help you with your resume, like cleaning it up with AI. And then there was basically people that run their AI bots that you apply for the job with them, and then they apply to 50 million jobs for you. And then there's AI on the hiring side as well. Probably not too different from the kind of stuff that's been gone on before, but just the mass layers of AI in between people was kind of depressing. It was a little disempowering to some extent. I was grateful that I was able to get a job primarily actually through like networking on LinkedIn instead of going through an AI engine like that. And then you think about all the content that's created. It's like AI influencers now, and it's getting to the point, like when it first started happening, like I could tell. Like I think the first big clue for me where it hit and I knew it was going on is because the breast size of all the women on Instagram was suddenly like 5 times as big as it was before. And it's like, wait a minute. Not everybody went out to the surgeon and got implants. Like there's something going on here. This is not normal. This is not natural. And you know, it is what it is though. And there's a lot of accounts. It's not even necessarily people you're interacting with on Facebook or whatever platform. If you're in comments, there's a lot of bots that are fighting political battles and other public relations battles, and bots for hire to increase influence. It's just everywhere. So you're like in the comments and you're like, you don't even know how many real people you're interacting with anymore. And now it's also to the point where I know a lot of people that don't even generate their own stuff. Like, but they use artificial intelligence to generate these nice, like 5-paragraph long posts on LinkedIn that make them sound all like, wow, they could do the normal job and write something like that. That was really cool. You're really impressed by them, and you find out they do it all with AI. And it's like, even when you're trying to interact with people on social networks, it happens to be AI sitting there in front of them. And maybe it's something they know stuff about, and maybe it's kind of written in their tone or their voice, but it wasn't necessarily something that came up with. And that even though there's still value there, if like does it matter if the thought was generated by the 10,000 monkeys of the LLM or by an actual human brain? If it's a good thought, it's a good thought. Maybe it doesn't matter so much, but then I don't know, like you're almost, I think I've got some concern about doing it because number one, I would get lazy and I wouldn't learn to think as clearly as I do now. And there's some truth to that. They talk about these doctors that have been like doing colonoscopies for decades, and they can look at these pictures and identify polyps and stuff like nobody's business. And they're best of the best. And AI is finally good enough that it can do as good of a job as them. And after decades of doing it and building up all that skill, they pretty much lose all of it in a matter of 6 to 8 weeks. And after 6 to 8 weeks of relying on artificial intelligence, their skill at being able to do their job has dramatically been reduced. So there's that aspect of, I'm not sure how much of my writing, I mean, some of it, depending on the topic, if, I don't know, I won't get too far into that, but I don't know how much of my creative writing, especially, that I want to outsource to AI. Now I have, one place I have been using it lately is I'm trying to switch up my thumbnails for my critical culture podcast. And I've been using vidIQ. I signed up for that a couple of weeks ago as an effort to try and jumpstart what I was doing. And I've been generating more provocative thumbnails with just a sentence or two with that. And they've been decent. Like, I don't think the other ones are all that bad. And to be honest, I don't know how much it matters for my podcast, the thumbnail, because it's just a static image the whole time. It's something people are more likely, like if they're going to get into it, they're going to find it via tags and it's going to come up, or, you know, whatever. The point is, I am using AI for my thumbnails and a little bit on the title and the description and stuff like that, and tags for my SEO and SEM inside of YouTube. Although especially the title, I'm still like on this borderline between, I understand when you have something that's more emotionally triggering, people are more likely to want to listen to it or watch it. And I'm still fighting the urge to go whole hog with that kind of concept because it feels a little manipulative, but at the same time, it's sales. Anytime you're trying to convince people of anything or trying to share a viewpoint or perspective, you want them to consider someone on the outside could look at that and say it's manipulation, but whatever. So I'm not quite fully bought into doing that with my titles yet, but the thumbnails I do. I think the other danger beyond just getting lazy, which reduces your ability to produce that type of content, is sooner or later, you're going to be called upon to deliver live in person in front of people. And if you can't come close to matching that level of polish or expertise on what you're talking about, there's going to be this big disconnect, and all that credibility and authority that you've built up with this other content that was polished and presented EM dashes and all by AI, you're going to get caught sooner or later, unless you just strictly hide behind your laptop, and even to the point of using a generated video of yourself, which, again, not entirely opposed to, but there are risks to doing that sort of thing. And I would encourage you to use it judiciously and also keep your skills active. What is wrong here? It's not. Yeah, so that's AI update lately. Some thoughts I've had around it. Where I have used AI, in fact, for my my whatnot inventory, like any good service, they've got a CVS file upload. And I used neural networks and AI multiple times in the process of getting my inventory up there. Let's take all those items, for example, that I got from my parents' house, these kitchen appliance type things. I was picking them up at my parents' house, laid them all out, took a picture of each of them independently. And then I went with Google Keep and I turned on voice recognition, which is some artificial intelligence right there. And I read off what each of those was. I was like, Perini 4-cup rice cooker, Perini sandwich toaster, comma, with commas in between. I read them all out, 20, 30 things, read them all out. It was beautiful in Google Keep. I went to Gemini and said, take out all the commas, make them new lines. I copy and pasted that into a spreadsheet, and I had all 30 items in the spreadsheet in a matter of minutes. No typing or no muss, no fuss. It was super easy. Go over to the other columns when it is description, price, things of that nature in Google Sheets. I learned or recently started using more equals AI, and then in the parentheses and quotes inside of there, you can build your prompt. So I would tell, I set a formula that said AI for each kitchenware item and then reference the cell right before it, generate a 3-sentence description of what this is. And then I went another one and said, go find the average price for this. Go find the weight. There's lots of different things you could do. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that with images, because you can also upload images or at least public URLs to them. So I need to streamline how I do my images, but there's an example of how that's also a good use of AI. It's not completely doing a task for me. I'm learning how to plug in different places AI to do the repetitive tasks that if I had to type out all of those items by myself, or if I had to go look up all the prices, if I had to go figure out what the weights are, if I had to think of a description and type it up. It saved me just tons of time. And it made it real easy to get on board with doing something like this. So I think that's still where AI is at in general. It's like, how do you plug it into your overall pipeline? In my podcast, I'll use Gemini for some like base level research on things, on topics, to get like, I guess, a high level overview of what the outline of a topic is and maybe some key points, but then go into a lot of YouTube videos. I listen to tons of YouTube videos. Like right now, I've been listening to a lot about the separation of church and state. That's going to be my next critical culture episode. So I'll listen to all those videos. I'll get that Gemini output. I'll save it in Notebook LM. I'll take all those videos and save them in Notebook LM. I'll find other resources and put it in there. And then really I've gotten comfortable enough that I do enough research that I just have like an outline of these are the main topics I want to talk about, and these are the subtopics. And that works a lot better. It's not like I'm telling AI, I'm not saying Gemini, write a whole podcast script for me on this topic, because then I'm reading a script, and that's okay too sometimes, but I am having the outline, speaking like extemporaneously, my big word for the day, just off the cuff about it, and that feels better. It's a lot easier. I don't have to prep as much for the podcast. They just kind of happen. But then I still have that Notebook LM there where hopefully all the facts and figures I've come up with and all these other resources, and I can ask it questions and have like a super condensed way to search all of my resources and find those key bits of information. I'm also trying to get used to putting those in the outline where they're applicable, and I know I want to do them. But yeah, let's see here. Why does this not work? Category, board games. Give me just a minute here. Labubu? No, I don't want Labubu. And blind boxes. Blind boxes. I got boxes downstairs. Could I just put anything in them and sell them for $1? Is that how it works? Primary selling. Oh, that's what I'm missing. Buy it now. Yeah, there's buy it now and auctions, surprise sets. There's lots of different ways you can do selling on whatnot. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. We'll see if anyone shows up. Hey, there we go. We'll put this up here. And I have joined. If anyone's looking for board games or role-playing books, hit me up and whatnot. Oh, yeah. Let's go back to chat here. I've been away for a while. What's up? Are you see my chats? Yes. Yes, it's been a while, Emma, but I do finally see your chats if you're still there. Maybe if I put this on the other screen, that would be better. It's all Twitch action. Is Twitch full of bots? My guess is yes. My guess is yes. Hey, that's a fair point, Rocky. Comment a live chat. Top fans. I do not have top fans. I do have community standards. No bullying and harassment. No hate speech. I am missing a meeting for this at the Outagamie Democratic Party. Months ago, I was actually down there for most of their meetings. And I was streaming those over Zoom with the same equipment. It has come in handy. It has come in handy. What else do we want to cover today? Overwhelm. Shall we talk about Overwhelm? Ooh, I misspelled that too. Come on. Overwhelm. I counsel adults of all ages and pre-adults sometimes. The names and identities of these adults and pre-adults will always be kept secret for their protection. So suffice it to say, I was counseling a full-grown adult who clearly was experiencing some level of overwhelm, just seemed to be somewhat dazed when they talked about all of the things they had to do in terms of adulting and taking care of responsibilities. And you know what? I can't blame them at all. They had quite a bit of stuff on their plate. I know because I've been there before. So when I saw that look on their face, I'm like, I know where you're at. Your mind is spinning. I see that little hamster on the wheel in your brain just running and running and running and getting nowhere because you are overwhelmed and you're on the wheel and not making progress on anything. So, doing what I do as an adulting counselor, I asked them a few things about how they were feeling, and actually just made an observation. Like, you look like you're a little bit overwhelmed right now, huh? And they're like, yeah, I am. And one of the key things of working with someone in that nature is you make that you make a statement to them instead of asking them a question. Are you overwhelmed? Is a yes or no answer. Then you have to ask more questions to figure out why or what's going on with them. And the more questions you ask, a lot of times people will tend to close down a little bit. They want to share, they want people to ask, but they don't necessarily want you to ask the questions that you want to ask to learn what you want to learn about the situation. So you can just make a statement and say, hey, you're overwhelmed. I could tell. And that if you're wrong, they will definitely they don't want people to be wrong about them. So they will correct you and say, no, I'm not overwhelmed. It's just this, it's just that. But if you are correct and they happen to say, well, yeah, sure. Then they don't feel questioned about how they're feeling. They feel validated already. Like, oh, this person gets me. They can tell I'm a little bit overwhelmed. And they had, like I said, a few major things and a bunch of other things. And some of it was short term, some of it was medium term, some of it was long term. And I think it really just came down to there's a lot of different approaches that could be taken, but the one I used in that case, there was two specific things, and the first one was, well, what is the most important thing that you really need to do that has the most potential good opportunity or negative opportunity? What's the biggest, most important thing? And it's not always the one that's on their mind either, the first one that they come up with. So if you can get them to talk about a few things, or if you're the person counseling yourself, write out a few things and consider the real implications, not just the perceived implications, and how, like, hey, this isn't a big deal, but for me, it's public speaking, and public speaking is really scary. So that is looming large. But you figure out what the real priorities are, and then it's just a matter of, look, you don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to worry about your medical debt that you're not going to pay off for the next 2 years. That can wait. You're not going to do anything about that today. Just set that down. Part of why you're overwhelmed is you're carrying all this stuff when you don't need to carry it. Like, it's not going away. Your medical debt is going to be there when you can get to it. People aren't going to magically forget about it, and then you feel bad because you didn't pay for a service you received. It's going to be there. If you're not looking at a major financial decision today, you certainly don't have to worry about it. But whatever the most important thing is, and it can be something big. Let's say you can't really afford to get your car fixed, and your car is making a loud noise. You don't know what's going on, and you're kind of scared. And you're like, how am I going to pay for this? And what if it's this? What if it's that? What if it's, that's the overwhelm comes in from trying to solve the whole problem before you even know what the problem is. So your first step is you need to go get your car checked out. And that's going to cost a little bit of money, unfortunately. But you need to get your car checked out to figure out how worried you should be about any of this stuff first. So the counseling there from a perspective of overwhelm is find out what's important, and then find out what is the first logical next step. What's something you can do right now, or if not right now, when's the soonest you can do it, and put it on your schedule and do it. And once you've taken that small step, it's a huge burden off in terms of the pressure, because you don't even always need to see your problems fully resolved, but you need to see progress towards resolving your problems, not just them looming and sitting there and weighing you down, in some respects seeming to be getting worse because they're not getting any better. And if something's not getting any better, then maybe it's actually getting worse. I don't know. So to be able to make some progress on something big like that is huge. The other thing that I've seen in YouTube videos about dealing with overwhelm is, number one, just don't. Some of it is a mind game in terms of reinforcing to yourself and just telling yourself, I don't get overwhelmed when you start to feel overwhelmed. Telling yourself, I don't get overwhelmed. I do what I can where I'm at with what I have, and I choose what that is as best as I can, and everything's going to be fine. So that's part of it. You could be on the bubble of overwhelm and save yourself from becoming overwhelmed. Sometimes you literally are swamped, even if you don't want to admit yourself that you're feeling overwhelmed and your brain is getting overloaded, because it doesn't matter what you tell your brain. It can get overloaded at a certain point in time. There's only so much that you can juggle and worry about and try to align, because your brain is even working behind the scenes, like beyond the thoughts in your mind that you're observing and sometimes chasing. So in that case, some of it is, again, just paring down what you actually care about. But beyond that, it's even a matter of to see more concrete and faster progress and reduce the number of things that you're concerned with. You just think of what is the quickest thing I can do right where I'm at that's going to start to alleviate some of the pressure I feel about something. So if it's, even if public speaking fear isn't your number one thing, but it's part of what's really bothering you at the time, and you're in a Zoom meeting, shutting off your camera, and that clears up some of your focus. It clears up some of your overwhelm and allows you to focus more on other things and keep chipping away at these easy things to get your load down to something that you can comfortably manage. That's another strategy when it's real, and it's not a matter of even having time to sit down and approach the sources of your overwhelm from a rational perspective. And then it's just a matter of do whatever you can as quick as you can to reduce your overwhelm load by just getting some quick wins. And again, part of it is mental at that point, and I am now seeing progress. I'm seeing my load start to be smaller. So even if it's bigger than I can comfortably handle, it's smaller than it was before. So when my brain is projecting how the future is going to go, it knows that the recent past things have been getting better, and they're going to continue to get better. And that, my friends, is the counseling advice that I gave my friend about Overwhelm. Don't do it. And if you do it, get off of it as soon as you can. That's Overwhelm. I don't do Overwhelm. A question from chat. Am I a failure at 23? Where is that? I should find that because it was pretty good. I felt for him a little bit. I don't know that. I don't ever remember feeling in my early 20s like I was a failure or I could be a failure necessarily. In the days of social media, you didn't hear about other people's successes as much. So you didn't really, and you probably largely hung out with peers at work, or if it was people that you used to be friends with in high school that were still around, there wasn't a lot of variation there. Suffice it to say, we'll skip the whole question. I remember as a 23-year-old female, and they tried to live on their own, and they failed, and they went back home, and they were wondering if they were a failure and if they could ever hack it. And I would say, I am so sorry you feel that way. You are not. A person can fail. A person can't be a failure unless they fail and they don't try again, and then they failed at that. You can't be a failure. You certainly can't be a failure at 23. You certainly can't be a failure just because you had to go back in with your mom and you couldn't hack it on your own. In today's economy, with the price of housing and healthcare and food and all of this stuff, and how wages really haven't kept up, I think it's pretty common. Not many people can live by themselves at the age of 23, even in their 30s and 40s. I mean, a lot of marriages, the two people have to work to have a income well enough to support a household or something smaller than a studio apartment. So you certainly can't call yourself a failure. You failed in your initial attempt to launch, but that is very common. I moved in and out of my parents' house multiple times until my early 20s. I never actually had an apartment of my own. I lived with friends when I wasn't with my parents. I was always living with friends because there's no way I could adult well enough to have my own apartment. Even then, in the 1990s, when rent was you could get a 2-bedroom decent apartment for $400 in a college town, no less. So I didn't consider myself a failure then at all. And I think it's also a matter of, you're so young. Why would you ever consider yourself a failure at 23? You're maybe a quarter of the way into your life. And most of that you're developing into an adult, and you're also learning to adult at a difficult time. So a failure, hell no. Some people, in fact, move back in with their family for other reasons. It's life and the way that it interacted with you. If you want to put pressure on yourself that you don't want to fail again, that is different. If you can say, I failed at this, that is fine. If that motivates you, if you can learn lessons from it and you can not give up because you failed, because you will fail at everything you try. There's going to be some level of failure until you get good at it. If it's something you want to get good at, and adulting and living on your own is kind of fun. I do recommend it. So no, a failure at 23, I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's possible. That was the question from chat. I lost my friends at Twitch. Sorry, Twitch friends. I will get better at watching chat, I promise. It's a little challenging for me. Where I don't see any chat here, though. Is there any chat out there on YouTube? Could somebody hit me up on YouTube? I can't tell. Where are my friends on Facebook? Do I have friends on Facebook? Are they all bots? Is it AI watching their accounts and liking my stuff now? No comment. That's all right. I'm doing it for the practice. I was looking at 4K cards so I could stream in 4K. My camera is good enough to do it. My internet connection is good enough to do it. I got fiber. And my laptop has got a dedicated graphics card, so it's good enough to do 4K. And I just learned today that YouTube is seeing more watch time on TVs than mobile. More watch time. Part of it is because they're longer videos, right? People are watching the longer videos on TVs and not their phones, and they're doing the shorts that are not a lot of time on their phone, maybe like 5 minutes worth of shorts. That's a lot of shorts, but they are short. What's up? What not? I see you out there. I got board games in my store. Let me know if you got questions. You could make an offer on something. I just adjusted the prices yesterday. I learned my prices were pretty low. One of the things I was doing on my live stream was like live price checking. And I was pretty good, Rocky. I was like, I tried to be just like $5 below, like if it's a $30 game, like $5 below what I would see typically for lowest, except for like some of those outlier prices on eBay that I just don't trust. Like someone's going to sell this board game was $90 brand new and it's in pristine condition and someone's going to sell it for $1.86. I don't know about that. That seems a little scammy to me. Yes, yes, sir. How does this work? So I can feature things. I should feature something. I should chat with my friends on Whatnot. Hey, Whatnot. What kind of games are you looking for? No, Rocky's mad. It's okay, Rocky. Well, I see we've reached about the 45-minute mark on the stream. That's a little bit over what I wanted to do for like my kind of my minimum. I wanted to make sure I did at least a half hour. I had a lot of fun talking at you guys. That's my take on some adulting things. I am setting up regular streaming Sunday nights, as this image says here. Sundays from 6:30 to 8 p.m., 21st Century Adulting office hours, live streaming, definitely on YouTube, probably on Whatnot on the mobile side, YouTube, big screen, maybe also Facebook and Twitch if some non-bots out there reach out and want to connect. So thanks for joining me. If you had fun, if you watched any of this, also please check out my YouTube channel. I've got my podcast, Critical Culture, which covers society level stuff, AI, a lot of the policy discussions, obviously a little bit of talk of politics, but I try to stick to the policy because it's important and we should be able to talk about that like adults. I know even I have a hard time talking about politics like an adult, so I try to avoid it because it's ugly business. Bunch of dad joke shorts and fun stuff like that. So check me out on YouTube at travisretzloff.com. Is that what it is? I don't even know my own channel. I don't even know what is my own channel. Yeah, at Travis Retzloff at YouTube. So thanks again for joining. Best of luck adulting. If you got questions, reach out ahead of time or reach out